All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're doing well today. Welcome to the Super Magic Show. This is the 49th edition. We started this live streaming series. Back in I think the week before Dragon Ball Daima premiered, and it is now continuing on. This is usually I'm joined by guests, and I'm going to bring up my guest here in just a moment on the Super Magic Show. Today's topic is going to be a lot of fun. Basically, what we're trying to do here with this stream is the idea is we're going to talk about must-see martial arts slash wuxia slash adventure movies that Dragon Ball fans need to see. So recommendations for movies that if you like Dragon Ball, you'll probably like. Now, just for the record, they're not all necessarily going to be from Hong Kong cinema or from Asian cinema. Some are. In fact, a chunk of them are, but they also can be from American cinema, European cinema, whatever. Just things that, basically movies that Dragon Ball fans would enjoy, that we think Dragon Ball fans would enjoy. That's essentially the topic of today's video, or of today's stream. Welcome. Remember, and I want to make this clear because we had a guy, very generously donate during the Mandalorian last week. He donated memberships, but memberships are closing down. Where everything's been moved over to Patreon, patreon.com/geekdom101. That's where you can go for bonus content, members only content. We do multiple posts a week, so it should be don't forget to go there, folks, because it's always going to be a good time there. And what I'm planning on doing on this stream is I'm planning on not only talking about movies, but also showing you maybe trailers and things like that for some of these films. So if the trailers get copyrighted, which I don't think they will, but sometimes they do, just remember that I will tell you that on the Patreon, if I end up with any copyright issues, just remember that the uncensored stream will be on the patreon.com/geekdom101. So let me go ahead and bring up my guest. Please welcome back. I mean, who else would be? Well, there's a few people that be appropriate for this episode, but I think I got one who's very appropriate. Jordan. Yo.
What's up, guys?
How are you?
I'm good.
Alrighty, bro. You have a list of 7 films. I have a list of 7 films. We've got they're not necessarily going to be a countdown. It's just 14 movies that Dragon Ball fans need to dig. So make sure you keep notes as you're watching, because you're going to want to check these movies out. And the good news is a lot of these movies are not only on streaming. Some of the movies are right here on YouTube, the full versions, the full movies.
Yeah. Yep.
So it shouldn't be that hard to find some of them. Yeah, I was surprised when I looked.
Free. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying, that a lot of them are free right here on the platform. So I want to go through some honorable mentions with you before we get to your list and my list. So a couple of honorable mentions that come to mind. Now, these movies could have made the list, but I chose other movies that I think fit more for Dragon Ball. But films like the Matrix trilogy, which straight up borrows from Dragon Ball. I mean, the Matrix borrows from Dragon Ball, especially the sequels. The Android 18 Vegeta fight scene on top of the truck is mimicked with Agent Thompson, I think it is. I think that's his name, against a Morpheus. No, that wasn't Agent Smith. That's Agent Thompson. Right. Agent Smith fights Neo in the Broly Brawl, and then the Super Brawl, which is basically Goku versus Frieza. It's very similar in the way the fight is played out, just much shorter. Much shorter. But there's that. Do you have an honorable mention you want to throw in there?
Yeah, I was going to talk about Jet Li's The One. It's got that, like, it's got the time travel shenanigans. It's got the whole time loop thing. You know, it is about a character traveling through time to kill another character, to become a god. So it's very, very similar to something Dragon Ball would do and has done.
Yes. I think, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen that movie since high school, but I think it needs to be revisited. Now, okay, normally I would ignore this because my response to this would end up being rather rude, but I think I'll let maybe you take this one. So Mr. Back Again once again says, is Geekdom 101 Plus one of your channels? It has a lot of your videos reposted and using your Golden Frieza image.
Yes, that is Danny's new channel. That is his new channel. He that's his third channel. He's using it to upload some stuff for, you know, just more universal content in general. Yeah, it's his new channel. It's great.
Thank you, Jordan. And you know how an easy way to figure out if it's my channel? Here's a real easy way, bro. When you click into the latest video, I literally tell you why the channel exists. Like, all you have to do is click into the newest video, bro. That's all you gotta do. Click into the newest video and it'll be there for you. So, in fact, you should watch the newest video because the newest video is an update on the Beerus, I guess, remake. What do we even call this thing now?
I would call it
the Beerus thing. Yeah, Dragon Ball Super Beerus. There you go. So that's an easy way to know. Little bit of investigating, bro. Little tiny bit. Watch one video. Boom. Hey, everyone. It's Danny here at Geekdom 101 Plus. This channel exists because of yada, yada, yada. And yeah, yes, I own that channel, bro. If there was any channel re-uploading my content, I guarantee you they get taken down immediately because YouTube don't play that anymore. I promise you that. You can't get away with that anymore. That used to be a thing that was a real problem in like 2017, 2018. But now it's not, thankfully. You know, so that's good. That's good. But good looking out. Good looking out because I know you meant well. I'm just saying that these things can be answered with just a tiny bit of investigation, just a little bit. Plus, there's also, like, on the community tab over here, there's there's a post that will link to it. There's lots of ways you could have figured this out, bro. But I'm saying, again, you meant well, and that's okay. That matters to me. It really does matter. It really does matter. It is pretty funny, I won't lie. So, one of the movies that I noticed is not on your list and not on my list, but I'm not sure if I want to make it an honorable mention, but I'll ask you about it. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. What do you think about that movie, bro? Because I have I honestly, Jordan, I have a very controversial opinion about that film. What do you think?
It's basically the closest thing to a modern kung fu wuxia film. Like,
well, it came out in 2000,
it's good.
So I don't know if you call it modern.
Well, it's the closest in terms of like new age effects, you know, like trying to replicate the style that came from like the earlier era in like a new age. That was the first time they ever really attempted it. And I think that's the reason that it sticks out in people's minds, because it was the first time that we had like Hollywood level, you know, videography and stuff like that for a film like that, where they're floating around, jumping around, attacking each other, hitting
wire fu.
Right. But it is connected to Dragon Ball because the characters in that movie get their powers from ki, you know, the way most martial artists do. So, I mean, there is kind of a connection there, but it's actually a pretty unique film and a pretty standalone film in comparison to a lot of the films that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of the point I was going to make. And this is going to come off very hipstery for a lot of people, but I'm just going to be real. When that movie came out, it was really hyped up. I did see it, and when I saw it, it's not that I didn't like it. I just didn't see what the big deal was because I had already seen so many movies like that like the speciality of that movie just didn't really. I think a lot of people who praise that film just didn't watch any wuxia. And I feel like, in my opinion, I just watched it and I was just kind of not really impressed. The same thing happened right around that time, actually, with a movie called The Sixth Sense. I went to go see this film and I predicted the twist ending within the first 5 minutes of the movie, and I was right. And so, you know what I mean? It's one of those things that, I feel like, it's one of those things that I think I don't want to sound like a hipster, I really don't, but it's just like what they did in that film. I had seen movies do 30 years prior, and I was just it wasn't a bad movie. It's just that there have been so many movies like that that I had already seen. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Now I want to clarify something right here. Hunter Mahe says there's many kung fu movies that inspired Dragon Ball, but to me, Journey to the West plus Enter the Dragon is Dragon Ball. Okay, but here's the thing, and that's a very fair analysis. But here's the thing: this list is not movies that inspired Dragon Ball. Yes, some of them did inspire Dragon Ball. This list is movies that Dragon Ball fans need to watch. Not movies that inspired Dragon Ball, although some of them are. Now, Hoodie says, I never heard wuxia. That's a very Graham spelling of it, bro. Wuxia is spelled Wuxia. So, Jordan, do you want to explain to the people, can you explain what wuxia is?
Yeah, Dragon Ball is wuxia. So
literally.
Yeah. So it is a series of shows and movies and stuff like that that is based around concepts surrounding Taoism and Buddhism, and there's also demons. Japanese and Chinese demons are normally the villains in these films, but it's basically a film where you have monks and warriors and stuff using like
samurais,
supernatural abilities. Yeah, you have a bunch of characters using supernatural abilities with like special effects. They're like flying and stuff like that. But the source of their power is ki, like that. So basically, it is a form of entertainment that Toriyama essentially adopted into Dragon Ball. And a lot of people don't really even realize that it exists. But the whole idea of characters flying around, shooting blasts at each other, and getting stronger using martial arts is something that was prominent in this type of Chinese storytelling way prior to Toriyama trying it in Dragon Ball. So
yeah, the other thing too that you'll see common in wuxia is wire fu, which is people flying in the jungles and jumping on trees, and basically like Dragon Ball characters fight when they fly in midair and with wires. That's why it's called wire fu, because they use literal wires to hold them up, and they delete the wires in post. And then they also, you'll see comedy. A lot of these wuxia films will have comedy as well. It's almost like, would you consider wuxia almost like a companion to like the Shogun, samurai type of films? There's so many of them, bro. The Kurosawa films. It's almost like it's almost more of a comedic version of a Kurosawa movie.
Well, they're adapting Chinese mythological stories in a comical and action-based sense.
Right.
Most of the stories that you'll see in that genre are retellings of previously established legends from Chinese lore, where characters gain powers from Taoism and Buddhism and stuff like that, and they fight demons. And that's the reason that most of the movies that fall underneath that category all have a very, very similar plot, because it basically
a lot of the same actors too.
Yeah, the idea of using ki as like the source of your superpowers and stuff like that started in that genre. So that's the reason that you'll see the same type of stuff in a bunch of different types of films. So
yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of wuxia movies that we could talk about. I mean, the Shaw Brothers, there's multiple Shaw Brothers collections out there for you to look at. I feel like most people would dig wuxia movies. The only thing you have to be ready for is You can either watch them subbed, or if you watch them dubbed, be prepared because the dubs for a lot of these films are hilariously bad sometimes. Not like
Yeah.
bad in like the Dragon Ball Z dub, but like hilariously bad where they don't make sense. You know, they're very now the Wu-Tang Sword style. They're just very. I grew up with these movies and they're so goofy. I can't think of another word than just to say goofy, and the dubbing makes them more goofy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of these movies are in Mandarin Chinese. I mean, this culture is Chinese influence. Dragon Ball, even though it was made by a Japanese mangaka, Japan, the whole country of Japan is basically, I don't want to say a takeoff of China, but is there a respectful way to say it? Culturally
Well,
inspired by China?
Well, the reason that those types of films became so popular in Japan is because Japan converted to Buddhism, and a lot of these stories are legends that pertain to Buddhism or Taoism. And
Yeah,
that's
but
just
also the
something that,
language is like Chinese.
yeah, I mean, somewhat, I guess, but the main thing is that to them, it's historical content for their religion. So, and even if they don't take the religion seriously, it's still historical content pertaining to one of the most popular religions in Japan. So they're just naturally going to watch it and get into it for the most part.
Yeah, yeah. You popped me with this, bro. Yeah, we could talk about that also today. We're gonna get to our list here in a minute. Supreme Kai, the same guy who I just put up a minute ago. Thoughts on Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon? Patience. That may be on the list. And then Julius Irvin, which again, I think I saw you on Twitch this past weekend because I commented that I'm very humbled that Dr. J from the NBA watches my my YouTube, but he says, when do you think they'll promote Moro and drop a trailer? And do you think they'll make it seasonal or continue straight into granola? Well, I actually answered your question on Twitch. You just probably don't remember. Or maybe it wasn't you and I'm just screwing with my own brain here. I answered this question on Geekdom 101 Plus, the channel that 100% belongs to me. And if you watch the newest video on Geekdom 101, actually not the newest video. No, I'm not even thinking right now. And I hate to say this, bro, but like, okay, give me 1 second because I need to pull up. I need to show you.
While you do that, I'm gonna grab a bottle of water.
Oh, I thought you had water. Okay, yeah, go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Okay, so check this out, brother. Give me 1 second, because I'm sorry, I wasn't ready for this question, right? But I will be in just a minute. So I want you to look real closely, my friend, at my YouTube channel. See my YouTube channel right here? This video right here, if you watch this video, the newest video on my channel, and you watch it all the way through, I literally tell you when to expect the next Moro trailer. So that answers part of the question. So once again, guys, I appreciate the super chat, but I make videos for a reason, and that's so you can watch them and stay informed. It's always best to watch the videos before you ask your question. Now, the second question, do you think they'll make it seasonal or continue straight into granola? It's difficult to answer that question because right now I don't have an answer for you. I think that it's going to be its own. Granola is going to be its own, like, I guess, title. It's not going to be part of the Galactic Patrol, right? It'll be like its own, season. But it might not be. It might start right after Moro. I don't know. I can't answer that because we literally have, you're asking this question like a year ahead of time. They barely started working on Moro. So that's a question that can't be answered right now. I just can't answer it. I don't know yet, dude. So ask me again in like a year, or maybe less than that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe like 6 months, maybe like 8 months. Then I'll have a better answer for you. I don't know. I mean, it could be right after. It could be sometime after. I think it's possible it could be right after if they get into a flow. I think it all depends on how the schedule is. So that's, again, I can't answer that because you're asking me something that's so far into the future that I just don't know. Like I just can't. I don't know. Just being real with you, bro. I'd rather tell you the truth and give you a disappointing answer than tell you a lie and lie. You know what I'm saying? All right, you want to get to the list, bro? I think we've gone through some of these honorable mentions. Do you want to get to some of the actual, ones on the list? I didn't hear you. Hello? Can you hear me? I can't hear you, bro.
Oh, can you hear me now? There we go.
Yeah, man. Well, you all right? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
You're
My stuff.
You're like me on The Last Mongolian, bro. I got you. Okay.
Yeah, my bad, dude.
Go ahead and start with your first film, and then I'll go after you. What is the first movie on your list?
So the first movie on my list is called A Chinese Odyssey. And this guy keeps bringing up the Journey to the West film that Toriyama did the cover art for. We'll talk about that a little bit.
We'll get to that.
A Chinese Odyssey is a prequel film to that Journey to the West film, and it's also a prequel film to Kung Fu Hustle. If you've seen Kung Fu Hustle or you've seen the Journey to the West film, you would love A Chinese Odyssey. You would absolutely love it, because Stephen Chow he plays Wukong in that film.
He also directed. He also directed. What do you call it? I mean, a lot of movies, but he directed Kung Fu Hustle, and he directed the Journey to the West movie, which we'll get to shortly.
So here's something really interesting. Okay, if you watch A Chinese Odyssey after watching Kung Fu Hustle, you actually will find out that Kung Fu Hustle is a spiritual. It is a spiritual sequel to A Chinese Odyssey, because at the end of A Chinese Odyssey, Sun Wukong dies, and in that film, he is reincarnated as a human. He's reincarnated as a human scholar, okay? And he's defeated by Buddha's palm. He's defeated by the Buddha's palm technique. And then in Kung Fu Hustle, the main character of Kung Fu Hustle is the Chosen One. He is the reincarnation of a martial arts genius. So
Jordan,
they don't like come out and say that the main character.
Yeah. Well, there's some lag, man. There's some serious lag. Like you're lagging behind. You're lagging behind by several seconds, dude. I don't know what's up with your internet, but this got to be fixed soon, bro. I was just commenting on the fact that this gentleman said that A Chinese Odyssey is most definitely not a prequel, but you were saying it more like a spiritual prequel than a literal prequel, right?
Right. Yeah, right. It's more of a spiritual sequel. They don't like outright state that it's a sequel, but a lot of the stuff that Stephen Chow does references old movies that he's directed or worked on, and he just kind of nods at them and makes it seem as though they're all connected in like one cinematic universe. So if you watch A Chinese Odyssey, there's so many things that you'll catch in the 2014 Journey to the West film and in Kung Fu Hustle that you wouldn't have caught otherwise. Like there's just things that are in that film that he makes reference to in the other two films that you wouldn't know anything about if you didn't watch A Chinese Odyssey. Another really cool thing about A Chinese Odyssey is there is a time loop, just like in Dragon Ball. You can tell that Toriyama like got his thing for time travel from watching these types of films, because there's a thing in the film where he has to keep traveling over and over and over again and saving his love interest from dying. And if he's even like a second too late, she dies, and then he has to start all over. So it's like an endless time loop.
That's not really possible. That's not really possible because the Chinese Odyssey was in '95, and the Trunks arc was like the Android Saga was in like '92. So it couldn't have been. He couldn't have gotten that from
no.
Chinese.
No, that's
Odyssey.
not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. I thought you were okay.
No, I'm saying that he is into those types of things, and that feeds into why he's into the whole time travel mechanics within storytelling, is because he's into these types of films where they do these types of things. Like he's like that's one of his, like Terminator, for example. Like he likes these types of movies where they have these cool time travel mechanics, and that explains why he decided to use it within Dragon Ball, because he's just a fan of that type of film in general. He just likes those types of things,
Yeah, and
including
just to clarify for the people, A Chinese Odyssey, it's actually three movies. There's the original two, which were Pandora's Boxes Part 1 and then Cinderella's Part 2. The third one I've never even heard of until I did my research. I didn't even know this even came out. But it came out in 2016 with a much smaller cast, and it was nowhere near as popular. Have you seen this third one? I didn't even know it existed until like today.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's just
You don't
it's
have
just
to see it, right?
It's not a Stephen Chow classic like the other two, you know.
Yeah, it's not even Stephen Chow. It's Jeffrey Law. It's a different director.
Right.
So he just took over then.
Well, a Chinese Odyssey is it. You could use that title as from any person like working on the concept of a Chinese Odyssey, because the Chinese Odyssey really is just Journey to the West. That's just what they call it. You know, that's what they just chose to call it for those films. You know.
Well, sure, but I mean, like, if it's not Stephen Chow, it's not his vision, is what I'm saying. So that might be why the movie wasn't as good. I mean, just that right there.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, I would definitely recommend you guys go watch that as Dragon Ball fans. I think you would love it. I really do.
Yeah, I want to show the people the trailer for this film, because I think we're going to show the trailer. I don't think we're going to get any copyright problems or anything like that, but if we do, the uncensored streams are going to be available on the Patreon. So I may have to cut these out of the YouTube version, so just be aware of that. So this is the trailer for A Chinese Odyssey, which was released through Arrow Video, I believe. I have to double check that, because it's either Arrow Video or Vinegar Syndrome, but one of those two boutique labels did put this film out. But I think it may actually be available for free on Tubi or on YouTube. I think I saw it there when I was looking into it. Let's start this trailer now. I'm glad they wasted 30 seconds on a logo, bro. Thanks.
Yeah, me too.
Music slaps.
Now that song, is the basis for a lullaby that the main character sings in the 2014 Journey to the West film. That track that you're hearing right now, Stephen Chow makes reference to that track in the 2014 Journey to the West film. There's a scene where he sings a lullaby to a demon, and he sings this song. So that's just another cool little thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of text here and no visuals. I agree with Heesh. There we go. Look at that.
Yeah, the transformation scenes are really cool in this.
there's just so many things that I'm into that are encapsulated in that trailer. JRPGs, tokusatsu, like if you're into toku stuff like Super Sentai and things like that, that movie, it's got those kind of cheesy, very cheesy costumes that Super Sentai has, but they still look good, and so are the choreography of the fights, like just incredibly well done. To be real with you, man, nobody choreographs martial arts fights better than Asian people. It's just always been like this. I mean, you can see a stark difference when you watch any of their products compared to the fight scenes that we have. You know what I'm saying? Like there's something special about the way they do it. I don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and the transformations, the gruesome transformations in that film, I think you guys as Dragon Ball fans would love, because there are quite a few like demonic transformations that take place within that film that are very akin to like whenever Frieza like transforms into his like most gruesome forms. It's like the way that was animated and the way that that's depicted is very, very similar to the transformations that you'll see in that film. So again, go check it out. I think you guys would love it. So,
yeah, you should check out all of these movies when you get a chance, because they're not all. And by the way, for the record, they're not all Journey to the West movies. Some of them are, because I've got a couple on my list that are, but not all of them. Remember, we got 14 of them to go through on here. 7 Jordan picked, 7 that I picked. Originally it was 5, but I was thinking, man, there's so many films that could that I think Dragon Ball fans would enjoy. I'm going to go with my first pick. Now, again, I want to reiterate something to y'all. This is not a countdown. So Jordan is not going in order by the ones he likes and dislikes the most. We can talk about that too if you want. It's just movies. We're going to give you a lot of different movies. I'm not saying you have to watch all 14 of them, but if you pick a couple of them out, you'll probably be entertained. Like you'll be entertained for a couple hours at least, and there's a lot out there, man, that people have never seen before. And I'm gonna go with one right now that I think is a cult classic. Cult fans are gonna love this movie. Dragon Ball fans are gonna love this film. It actually came out the same year as Dragon Ball. I'm talking about the 1986 classic known as The Magic Crystal, starring Andy Lau and Cynthia Rothrock. It's got Americans in it, and directed and written by Wong Jing. This movie, bro, has such a cool, incredible vibe to it. I might stream it in the Discord server. It's got an adventure story where they're going after a MacGuffin. They have to fight. There's energy blast. It's Dragon Ball. It's Dragon Ball. You understand what I'm saying? It's motherfucking Dragon Ball, bro. Have you ever seen Magic Crystal?
I have. It's been a long, long time, but I have seen it. I watched it as a kid quite a few times.
Yes.
I watched it prior to knowing that it like was anything like Dragon Ball, so my mindset watching it was very different than what it is now.
Yeah, it's incredible. I want to address Hazen, or is it Hazen? He says, thought you were going to say Magic Begins. That's not on our list because that movie is a Dragon Ball movie. It's called Dragon Ball The Magic Begins. And if you haven't seen it, you should. Dragon Ball fans should watch that because it's actually a good live action Dragon Ball. Same thing with Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and 3 and Shang-Chi. Those are all honorable mentions. But I assume that most people have seen that movie, bro, so I didn't put it on the list. The reasons why some movies didn't make the list is because they either were directly Dragon Ball movies or I think they're so popular. Like, I think everybody saw Sonic, right?
Right.
But how many have seen The Magic Crystal? Let's watch the trailer and then we can talk a little bit more about it. This trailer is so alpha, bro. Thank you, Tin Loon from the Dot. Look at this, bro. Look at this. Those effects hold up. I'm sorry, but they hold up.
They do.
Oh, yeah. Look at Minnie Mouse and Donald Duck. Excuse me, not Daffy. Donald Duck. I was right the first time. Some of this was shot in America, I think. I'm sorry. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Like, I'm not, look, it's been so long since I've seen this entire movie. Are you watching this, bro?
Of course, yeah.
This is the most amazing shit, bro. If you don't like this movie, bro, fuck you. Well, most of you haven't seen it yet, but you will like it. Okay, I was curious about your connection, Tin Lun from the Dot. I'm sorry if I fucked up your name. I haven't seen you in chat in the past. So I didn't know you actually were a translator and you worked with some of these movies. So I'm curious to talk to you about that. Maybe after the show, shoot me an email and we can talk about it, because I'd love to talk to you about doing that, because I'm really interested. He says, I also translated Ching Su Tung's The Witch from Nepal, and that has some Dragon Ball. See, I've never seen that movie. So you would
awesome.
probably he would probably be a good guest with us on a follow-up to this.
Yeah.
You know, because I didn't even know, no offense, I didn't know who you were until now. And that's good. I mean, it's not good, but it's good that I know you now. Let me continue the trailer. Oh, T-Dot, okay. I like how they show a lot of action in this trailer. That is not an Asian woman, bro. That's not an Asian man, but they're kicking ass.
Yeah, the choreography's great.
It's incredible. I like how the last trailer was all text, and this one is just a bunch of scenes
All
of
fight.
fighting.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite. It's a 4-minute trailer, but is this the actual trailer? Because it doesn't seem like. See, it says, okay, I don't know if this is the actual trailer. This may be a fan-made.
Like a compilation.
Like a and I don't want to give away all of the. Okay, here's the Vinegar Syndrome trailer. So, okay, here we go. This is the Vinegar Syndrome trailer, because I didn't want to do 4 minutes of all these fights, especially because that might get me copyright stung. So this is the actual trailer from Vinegar Syndrome. So it's available for Vinegar Syndrome, but I'm letting everybody know, in case you don't know about Vinegar Syndrome, they're not cheap. They put out movies boutique with a ton of extras. They're like Shout Factory or like Criterion or like Arrow. So you may end up having to spend some money on it if you want, unless you could probably figure it out online. But let's watch. Kick the fuck out of him, bro.
Hand it over. We're Interpol agents.
It's so Dragon Ball.
Did you kill my brother? Hey! You're a mean man. He's an evil man. He deserves more. Right. Are you really speaking? Not really.
It is pretty funny.
That's wrong. We don't know what it is. Mommy!
Go! Hey, you! Stop there! Hold on! Come back!
I'm an explorer from another planet in the Milky Way.
That movie's a good time, bro. That is a good time, man. Hopefully people are watching these trailers and understanding why we chose these movies. Cause I mean they do give that same vibe that Dragon Ball is supposed to give.
Yeah,
I think. You know.
yeah, I agree.
Then again,
And
bro, I learned that Goku was a selfless superhero, and he's a fighter of justice who is the hope of the entire universe. That's what Dragon Ball taught me. So,
Right.
but what do I
Yeah,
know?
I definitely need to revisit that film myself. It's been a long time, so I definitely need to revisit it.
Me too. I'm seriously am considering watching it on Twitch at some point. Okay, we've gone through Chinese Odyssey. What is your next film on the list?
My next film is Hakenden, The Legend of the Eight Dog Warriors.
The Eight Dog Warriors.
Yeah, if you can find the trailer for that. That now that did inspire Dragon Ball. That's not necessarily why I picked it. It's just very, very Dragon Ball-esque, and I think that if you watch it as
there's an anime. There's an anime too, right? Did you know that?
Yeah. I'm talking about the old film, because the old film, like, they literally go on the journey and go collect each individual orb. But essentially, the idea of this film,
there's also a remake that came out in 2024. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. Just there literally is a remake that came out in 2024.
That's fine.
That's wacky.
Toriyama watched this film, and he was he was really inspired by the legend in general, like the actual legend from Japanese lore. But the idea is that there are 8 crystals, and each of them represent a different teaching in Confucianism. And they are 8 dog warriors that the main character has to find in order to defeat the final villain. And the little crystals that she has to find and hunt down and gather together look a lot like the Dragon Balls, except for they're blue. But it's very, very similar to Dragon Ball in that, they're going on a hunt for a bunch of jewels, a bunch of crystals. Except in this case, they don't get a wish. She gets a band of warriors to help defeat the evil villain that she has to face at the end of the film. And there is a character in that who is called the Wolf Bandit, and that is likely partially why Yamcha was a wolf-themed character, was because of this film.
Yes.
Because all of the demons are dog demons who have been converted into human form, and they protect the princess, the main character, and she actually falls in love with one of these dog demon characters. And anyway, the whole idea of Yamcha having wolf fang fists and them finding Yamcha as somebody to help protect them on their journey. Because originally, as you know, Yamcha was based on Sandy from Journey to the West. He was not based on a wolf-themed character. So this film will kind of help connect the dots in terms of why Toriyama chose to give Yamcha that wolf theme as well. So
I want to make it easier for people when it comes to finding this film, because I had a little bit of trouble there. If you want to find it, you have to look up Legend of the Eight Samurai. It's still Hakenden, but Legend of the Eight Samurai. And there's actually something similar with a movie I have on my list coming up very soon, because if you look for it with its Japanese, or I'm sorry, its Korean name, its Chinese name, it doesn't come up as easily as looking for the American one. But we'll get to that. So I want to let everybody know that look for Legend of the Eight Samurai, and guess what? This entire movie is on YouTube for free. So people can watch it today for free if they want to. Let's check out the trailer. Oh, and this came out in 1983, which is a year before Dragon Ball began. So no question this inspired Dragon Ball. No question about it.
What a weird music choice.
It's like the trailer for Hausu with that weird happy music.
See, look,
People are getting
those
killed.
right there. Those right there were the inspirations for the Dragon Balls right there.
Yes, that they were. He even said that himself.
Yeah.
She looked good, bro. This is a freaking love song, man.
しんべヱ、
なんだい。
なぜ私を連れて逃げた？
That character right there on the left, he definitely was a big inspiration for y'all.
This looks amazing. I haven't seen this one yet, but I know of it. Satomi Ha Kenden, there's Buddha. Bro, and the thing about this movie is a lot of the different movies that we've talked about are Chinese that inspired, Japan or whatever. This is a Japanese film. This is a film made in Japan by a Japanese studio. Yeah. So not, and that's something that, when we talk about Journey to the West and stuff like that, like we talked about the influence that China's had over Japan, but not every Hong Kong film is from China and not everyone's from Japan. Like there's, it's
the through line is Buddhism. Like, for example, the whole narrative of that film is the idea that a dog demon could be reborn as a human and learn to gain a heart and compassion. And that's essentially what Goku is, except he's a monkey demon type character.
Wukong,
right?
it was bad first too.
Right. So it's basically that same idea that an animal like demonic creature can be reborn as a humanoid like creature and learn to develop a pure heart. So it's got the same sort of like narrative background as Dragon Ball at its core. So.
Yeah, Sonny Chiba. I love Sonny Chiba, bro. I have the Criterion Street Fighter trilogy. I think the Street Fighter movies, though, were more so like inspired Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, literally, than Dragon Ball. But I do love old school Sonny Chiba. Yeah, man. Okay, so that was Hakenden, but look up the 8 Samurai. That's how you get it from 1983. My next one is one that people were talking about earlier in the chat, but I didn't want to go too much into it because I knew it was on my list. I made this list earlier this week, by the way, for full context. And this movie is a movie directed by Stephen Chow and co-written by him. And I think a lot of people have seen this film. And this is Journey to the West, Conquering the Demons from 2013-2014. There are two movies. There's Journey to the West, Conquering the Demons, and The Demons Strike Back. Now, before we went live, you told me that this was the definitive Journey to the West movie, and I was curious about why you felt that way. What is it about this one in particular that makes you feel that way?
They're both very good. The second one, okay, so the first one I would say is almost like a love letter to Dragon Ball. There are a lot of little nods and homages to Dragon Ball within that film. The second one is more like a homage and a love letter to every Journey to the West film that's ever been made.
I see.
In the
so
second
this is big
film,
time up there for you.
Yeah, in the second film, they actually consistently change Sun Wukong's design to different designs from different Journey to the West films that are super ridiculously popular in China. He actually doesn't even keep the same design the whole film. Like they change like his whole design and his look from scene to scene because it is a love letter to all of the Journey to the West films that have been made in China. That's sort of the purpose of the second one. But the first one straight up is like ridiculously Dragon Ball coded. So
Yeah. Now, Stephen Chow made films both for a Hong Kong studio and for the West. Interesting thing about this movie is that this is a co-collaborative release. Like this movie was, it was a Chinese movie, but it was also produced in the West. You know, like, and so this did get an American release. It did. This movie's actually not that hard to find, like on traditional like. Not just streaming, but like, you know, if you go to if people still go to the video store, it's not that hard. If they even have that anymore, Redbox, I guess, it's not that hard to find. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 94%. Now, I don't give a shit about Rotten Tomatoes, but for a Journey to the West film to get that high of a score, this is a very special movie.
it is.
This
It's
is a
very,
very
special. I
special.
think you all would love it.
Yeah, I put it on my list because I had a feeling you were going to, well, I'm not going to go into your list, but I had a feeling you were going to put another movie on your list. So I figured I would also have a Journey to the West movie on my list because you have to have at least
and for
one.
the record, we should probably watch the trailers for both Conquering the Demons and the movie after that.
Really?
Because
Why
both
is
of them are
that?
really good. I just think the fans would enjoy it. The sequel to A Conquering Demons is just as good, so we might as well just cover it. I mean, it doesn't have to be so static in terms of like what films we pick. I just think that they would enjoy the trailer, and it would probably like motivate them to go see it a little bit. So
Yeah, and I do think that I do think people should go see it. I've never seen the second one. Full disclosure, I've never seen the second one.
we'll watch it together. I'm kind of glad you haven't seen it because I'd like to watch it.
Yeah, well, this is like, and this is 2013, 2014, so it's a modern-esque film. So it's a lot of the movies we picked are like 80s, 90s, classics in some ways with very lower budgets and older special effects, which I like more.
Yeah.
I prefer puppets and costumes to CGI. I think this movie has a good mix of the old and the new style. If you haven't seen this movie, you need to see it.
You can tell that Stephen Chow, like, he had a lot of funding for this movie and he took advantage of it. That's what I gotta say about it.
Yeah, Stephen Chow's gonna get a lot of love on this show. Very, very kung fu hustle.
你也是驱魔人啊？嗯。凭什么啊？
驱魔大典。
儿歌300首。
A quest to vanquish evil from this earth.
小姐要不要帮忙？
要。
怎么帮？
滚开！
好。
Will lead the world's greatest demon hunters to their ultimate challenge.
"你有没有死过老公？"
大嫂，你相信我，我真的没有老公。
Needless to say, very ambitious movie. That is a very ambitious movie, bro.
It is. I agree.
And that is the same guy. That's the same narrator that did the Dragon Ball Evolution trailer. But please do not compare these two movies. Go ahead, brother.
So I sent you an image. I sent you a couple images, actually. The first image is to kind of promote the film for Dragon Ball fans, because I think if you guys see that this is in the film, you'd be more likely to watch it. Did they load, Danny?
Yeah, I have the first
so
one up
in
right
the
now.
film, at the end of the film, Sun Wukong literally turns into like a great ape. Like, he literally turns into like a Dragon Ball style great ape at the end of the film. That's his like full power demonic form.
Thanks for spoiling it.
Well, you'll be all right.
I know.
There's also a reference where one character, Sun Wukong, actually, I'm not going to tell you who he kills, but there's a scene in the film where you remember when Frieza picked up Krillin and like made him just like explode in the air.
Yes,
Stephen Chow does that.
I heard about this.
He does that 1-to-1. Wukong like literally like grabs up a character, like has them float up in the air, and then just like explodes them into like energy like everywhere. So basically, this is like a love letter to Dragon Ball. Like, if you go watch the movie, you'll see that there are like tons and tons of references to Dragon Ball within.
And if it's gonna be a Journey to the West movie which inspired Dragon Ball, you might as well do the reverse, right? I mean, it's only fitting. What about this clip?
So, you know how Goku, like, always, like, you know, finds, like, bad guys and then tries to convert them to the good side?
Of course.
This movie is about the main character of Journey to the West doing that to Sun Wukong. So, that's another, like, aspect of Goku's character that you can learn about better if you watch this film. This whole idea of, like, you know, converting demons into, like, being your helpers and your friends rather than your enemies. That is like the central theme of this film, and this story is about the character that Goku was based on having that happen to him. He gets converted into like a friend instead of an enemy. So it basically will show you. It'll show you why Toriyama chose to take that approach with Goku's character and like what his inspiration was for that type of idea, essentially. So I definitely recommend that you guys go watch this. It'll expand your understanding of Dragon Ball. Toriyama actually did cover art for it. I was trying to find it to show it to you guys because
you showed it to me like 3 years ago. I know you tried.
I've been trying to find it. I can't find. Like, I haven't had enough time. Like, I jumped on this stream ill prepared. I'm sorry, guys. But if you look it up, you will find the image that Toriyama drew of Sun Wukong he drew the cover art for this movie, and you will find the image
Japanese cover art, not the one that's on Wikipedia, right?
And also, Toriyama was a ridiculous fanboy of this film. The Dragon Ball official website put out an interview from Toriyama where he saw. I don't have the interview on me. Maybe I'll talk about it one day in a separate video. But like, there's an interview that they asked Toriyama about this film, and this film basically like reignited Toriyama's fascination with Journey to the West and his love for Chinese films in general.
And it came out right when Battle of Gods was coming out. What a coinky
exactly.
Dink. What a coinky dink.
This film was a huge inspiration for Battle of Gods. As a matter of fact, there's some like voice acting crossover.
Did you know that in the Japanese dub, it's dubbed by the Dragon Ball voice actors? Did you know that?
Yes, I did know that. Like,
that's pretty badass.
And also, Beerus's voice was from the Japanese dub of this film. But Beerus voiced in the Japanese dub of this film before he voiced in Battle of Gods. So that may have been how he got his job. So,
well, he's a legend. You know, he already was legendary. He had a legendary career even before he did Dragon Ball.
Right. But yeah, this film definitely had a huge impact on Toriyama. So
I want to address.
Go check it out.
I want to address what Tin said. I disagree with you. I don't think Fox's biggest mistake was Evolution is not taking Stephen Chow's input seriously. I think Fox's biggest mistake with Evolution was a group of studio heads watched the movie that was eventually released in theaters and said, you know what? The public's ready for this. Let's put it out. I think that's the biggest mistake they made. Just like X-Men The Dark Phoenix, somebody sat there from a studio and said, from Fox, ironically enough, coincidentally enough, and said, yeah, this works. That's the biggest mistake, in my view.
Yeah.
So,
I agree.
But again, respectfully disagree only because of that reason. This is the trailer for the sequel. I'm going to hit play. I've never seen the sequel before, so let's check it out.
有过痛苦，方知众生痛苦；有过执着，放下执着；有过牵挂，了无牵挂。
这一路，我杀的妖，降的魔，全都是为了他。
世上最难过的关是情关。
他放不下一个人。这个女人真的是妖精，他们全都好来害你的。
真的没有妖怪？
打我！
嗯？
你不打死我，我就打死你！你居然为了一只妖精打我，臭猴子！那你就别忍了，干脆干掉他！你们给我听着，不要再叫我臭猴子！我欠他的，我早已经还清了。他欠我的，也不必再还。是不是我喜欢的女人都要像段小姐那样死在你手上？从今往后，你我师徒二人恩断义绝。这个世界不是朋友，就是敌人。
I've never seen it. I've
Now
never
you'll
seen
notice-
that movie.
You'll notice there was like 5 or 6 designs for Wukong in that one trailer. And that's because he's using all the classic.
He has a lot of different forms too.
Well, it's a love letter to every Journey to the West film that's been made in China in some sense. So like he used, even that actor is from a separate Journey to the West film, the one that you see that looks more human. Like he's basically just using all the different variations of Sun Wukong's aesthetic from different films in one film. So this is just like a giant love letter to almost every Journey to the West film made in China. It's really cool.
Yes, I need to see the second one. I need to get my hands on both of them because I don't own either one of them. So, and like we talked about, the Japanese cast for Dragon Ball voices their dub. So I've always thought that was clever. Now, my next movie on my list here, we got to shoot through these a little bit faster just because we've already gone an hour. This is a classic, all right? And somebody mentioned it earlier, okay? Somebody mentioned it earlier in the chat, but I didn't want to say anything. So I'm glad you guys are cultured. Some of you guys are very cultured. This is a film from 1983, a year before Dragon Ball began, that I am certain that Akira Toriyama watched. Certain. It's a film called Zoo Warriors from Magic Mountain. Have you ever seen this movie?
I have, yeah.
That's good. I'm not
That's
surprised.
that is one of the classic wuxia films. It's like it's a staple if you're gonna watch that type of media or absorb that type of media. It's one of the best films to get into that genre. Although I will say, It does have some of the jankiest wire work and camera work I've ever seen in a film. I love it, but there are like so many reverse shots and like weird
editing shit.
Yeah, weird editing stuff that they do within the film. It's like it's comical, really.
Yes. I also, like I said, it's an older movie. I believe, because I know it's based on a novel called "The Legend of the Swordsman from the Mountains of Shu," but I believe that there's an anime also that adapted some of this story.
Yeah. After we watch the trailer, I'll get into it a little bit more. Let's just watch the trailer, and then I'll tell you guys some of the narrative stuff and how it connects to Dragon Ball.
Yeah, no, we could both talk about that because there's a lot here. And again, like I mentioned, when it comes to this stream, some of these things were inspired by Dragon Ball, other things inspired Dragon Ball, and but some are just similar to Dragon Ball, and that's really what it's about. And basically the bottom line is, if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you'll probably end up liking or even loving some of these movies, depending on how much of a fan you are. Great video quality on this release. Great restoration.
我魔教教规屁听行动者，杀！他们是什么人？他们是尖的，我们是中的，明白吗？树上见，千军为你相背。
Key blast, bro. Key blast.
谁知他斩不断安稳缠绵。趁虚而入，这个和尚中了我的血魔毒。峨眉龛上有2把剑，现在只要拿到这2把剑，就能消灭这元神。快点传递！
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I enjoyed that trailer, bro. That's a good one.
So, just to give you guys a little bit of a rundown of the plot, okay, just a little bit, okay. There is a Buddhist monk and a Taoist monk, and they both adopt a apprentice. This is one of the first movies that plays on that whole idea of like Buddhism versus Taoism in a very, very on the surface sense. And there's these two characters. There's a master of Taoism and a master of Buddhism, and they take in disciples, and they're having to learn to become these warriors, so that way they can use these swords that they will use to essentially, the swords, one's black and one is white, so they're basically like symbolic of yin and yang, and they have to be able to master using these swords and master their abilities in order to take out this demon character. And this demon character, his design is ridiculously iconic. They've used his design as the basis for a lot of different characters in anime. But anyway, there's a lot of there's a lot of thematic similarities between Dragon Ball. But the main thing that I would say that this film touches on that's very similar to a theme that Dragon Ball touches on. It's not just the wuxia, ki blasts and stuff like that. The main villain, the whole entire idea behind the main villain is that he essentially, although he's a demon and he's evil and he's considered a villain, he thinks he's the good guy. So it's one of those tropes. It's very, very similar to like Zamasu. It's one of those tropes where they kind of play on the gray between good and evil, because he's kind of a pure entity in the sense that he believes that without darkness there can be no light. It's that whole thing, where his idea is that the only reason that good is appreciated by the world is because of the existence of evil and stuff like that. And
that's a great philosophy.
And that's sort of his philosophy, and that's the reason that he's kind of treated as like a pure of heart character within the film, despite being evil, is because like his philosophy is that evil is a necessary element within the universe. So it's a really interesting film. If you guys like that kind of stuff, I would definitely suggest that you go check it out. So. And
as you saw in the trailers, obviously it's primitive, but there were key energy blasts. People were moving around. Like Dragon Ball fans who like the action of Dragon Ball are gonna mostly find stuff to love about that. And also, now that we have a chance, I wanted to address earlier, somebody asked about Man of Steel, because the Man of Steel final fight is very Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z. I didn't put it on my list, and neither did Jordan, because everybody's seen that movie, and everybody's going to say Man of Steel. And I just feel like, yes, the final fight's very Dragon Ball Z. The rest of the movie really isn't. There's things I like about Man of Steel, and there's things I don't like about it. But I feel like most of you already know about Man of Steel. And a lot of these movies are movies that came out like maybe at least over like 15 years ago. Not everything, because obviously I mentioned the Journey to the West Stephen Chow movie, but I think Man of Steel was so mainstream and everybody already compared it to Dragon Ball that why are we going to do the same? You know what I mean?
Right.
The Big Boss Part 2. Yeah, that's when they were doing sequels to Bruce Lee movies and putting like Game of Death Part 2 without Bruce Lee being in it, bro. Trying to milk off of his name. So your next one, I think I know what it is, and I have the trailer pulled up, but let's talk about it.
Yeah, Snake in the Eagle's Shadow. Just let's pull up the trailer first, and then we'll discuss it a little bit.
This movie was on my list. When I was putting my list together, this was on my list, and I took it off.
You can't not watch this as a Dragon Ball fan. It had too much of an impact on Dragon Ball. Like it just
Right. But there is a reason as to why I took it off the list. I took it off the list because this film is the movie that made Jackie Chan a star in Asia. It was this movie. I have another Jackie Chan movie that even more so inspired Dragon Ball. And if you know about Jackie Chan movies, or if you've watched my channel, you know what that movie is. We'll get to it when we get to it. But this
movie has a
one
lot of the same actors as that movie that you're talking about,
bro. Yes, you should probably. I mean, it's on the list for a reason. You should probably watch them both. The Snake in the Eagle's Shadow. There's Tao Pai Pai. And if you watch my video where I talked about Tao Pai Pai, I literally mentioned this being a character that was directly jacked. Toriyama directly jacked this guy for Tao Pai Pai.
No idea.
The wacky dubbing, bro. we've talked about in the past how Master Roshi and Mr. Miyagi and all these old masters are always like these perverted comedy, masters. And
Yeah.
Yoda is the same way. All those characters, excuse me, were inspired by and it wasn't just this movie. It was inspired by I guess you can call it the stereotype of the old master that existed in wuxia for decades before Dragon Ball ever started. By the way,
Yeah.
Jordan, this movie, along with The Fearless Hyena, used to be on TV all the time. At least for me, here in Florida when I was a kid, usually in the afternoon. It was like a Saturday afternoon type of movie. Did you ever see any of these on TV? And this is like before even like Rumble in the Bronx came out.
Yeah, I remember seeing them on TV in passing when I was a kid. My dad was really big into kung fu films, and I was too. So any channel that we could find that would play kung fu films, we'd be hitting that up.
Right, and my brother was a rental guy, but no, I know Yoda was not a pervert, bro. I'm just saying the old funny master that makes the student do weird things. That's been done a gazillion times in Asian cinema. All that wacky training, bro. How'd they get the cat to do flips like that? Remember, this is... By the way, I want to make this clear. This movie came out in 1978. This is way before CGI. This is a year after Star Wars, and that was all optical and stop motion effects.
Right.
Combine the snake's fist with the cat's claw.
Choreography's nuts. He's doing the worm, basically. What a very simple trailer, bro. That's obviously the US
that
trailer.
That movie, I mean, it's really got the stereotypical tropes about like using martial arts for the right reasons.
Every trope.
Yeah, like that. One of the main things that's kind of like reinforced in that film is the idea of not using martial arts for evil purposes. But then you've got the classic kung fu murderer character that Toriyama used as the inspiration for Tao Pai Pai. Like that's definitely something that you guys would probably enjoy. But he's in both of the films that the Jackie centric films that we're going to be talking about today. So.
Yeah, and just for the record, there are a ton of Jackie Chan movies. A ton of them. Oh, sorry. There's a ton of Jackie Chan movies that we could have put on the list. I mean, like a lot. When you look at Jackie Chan's early career, you have to remember that this is the late 70s, mid to late 70s. This is when Toriyama was like a teenager. This is when he was first going out to see movies. So obviously these films were a big inspiration. And
Yeah, they
you know,
were heroes.
yeah, and Tin mentioned Ranma. A lot of the shonen stuff from the 90s, Ranma's another one that was directly inspired by Jackie Chan movies. Anytime you see the martial arts comedy stuff with the way Jackie Chan did it, it's usually because the person who makes that anime or that show or whatever is a Jackie Chan fan. I mean, the guy's a legend for a reason. You know, I know a lot of people discovered him first with Rush Hour, Rumble in the Bronx. This dude had been making movies for decades in Asia, bro. Decades.
Right. Yeah, basically you're recreating and re-experiencing Toriyama's childhood by kind of watching these films. So
Yeah, and they had an impact on him. My next movie, okay? I'm very happy to be talking about this one. We watched it in the Discord server and it was a big hit. If you are and this is not a Hong Kong or an Asian kung fu film. That is not what this is. If you are a fan of Dragon Ball and you've never seen this movie, I saw this movie, Jordan, for the first time when I was in like 8th or I think it was 9th grade on a VHS tape somebody brought to school in video productions class. I've told stories about that class. This is from 1985. Is it 80? Yeah, 85. Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon, featuring Bruce Leroy. Let's watch the trailer.
A martial arts champion in search of the glow.
Master, I need more time.
I am no longer your master.
A rock and roll star on the rise.
I know what it's like to lose precious things.
A madman.
Shogun of Harlem.
A maniac.
You're gonna put my video on your show, aren't you?
The answer is no.
And the glamour, the power, and the sound of Motown.
I don't want you to kill anybody.
Are you out of your mind? The Leroy Green I'm looking for is a little punk who thinks he's a kung fu master.
I am no master.
You sure look like a master to me.
This is Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon. It's about the power of the glow.
When he blocks the punch and does the glow, that might be the most Dragon Ball shit in history. And it's produced by the same Barry Gordy that ran Motown, discovered Michael Jackson and the Jacksons. He produced this movie. It's such a it's 80s cheese mixed with blaxploitation mixed with kung fu, which are three of my favorite genres.
Timok, Vanity. Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon, directed by Michael Schultz, a Motown Productions picture from TriStar.
And
yeah,
it's
cute aura, bro.
He literally gets an aura and does like a Kaioken type of fight, bro. And it's not even that long of a movie. It's like a little under 2 hours. I really like this movie a lot, and I really enjoyed watching it in the Discord with everybody when we I think it was like 3 years ago, bro. And some people had never seen it before, and they were marking out.
Yeah, so that movie is essentially about something very, very akin to all other kung fu movies, which is about using martial arts for the right reasons. But at the end of the film, when you see him get that aura, it's because he achieves a martial artist's mindset, so to speak. And you know, Dragon Ball plays on that a lot in terms of like, how your mindset can affect your energy and how strong you are and stuff like that. So if you enjoy like that conceptually, then you'll enjoy this film. So.
He literally gets an aura. It's Dragon Ball, bro. It's Goku. He's getting beat up, and then he does the big block, and then you know what's coming. But it came out in '85, which means that the people who were making the anime, like Koyama, probably watched it, because now that you would think that like maybe it wouldn't have gotten to Japan because it was kind of a low budget film for its time. But I don't know if y'all know this, but The Last Dragon. Here's something you might not know, Jordan, but not only was The Last Dragon a cult classic, that it was a rental. People rented that movie all the time. Did you know that Bruce Leroy, the actor that plays him, did a little bit of professional wrestling in 2006 for Ring of Honor?
I think you told me that before. I think you have told me before.
He did pro wrestling for a very brief time, I think it was like 3 matches for Ring of Honor. So next, you want to talk about the next film, bro, on your list?
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's Kung Fu Hustle.
People talked about it in the chat. It's here.
Yeah, let's go ahead and watch the trailer, and then we'll get into it.
2004 movie that was co-written, directed, and produced by Stephen Chow. So more Stephen Chow love. Now, in Asia, it was just called Kung Fu or Gong Fu. That's it. But it was called Kung Fu Hustle. This movie, to me, is another example of martial arts comedy. It's just another example of it. Let's watch the trailer. This is what Dragon Ball really is. Shang-Chi, bro.
Yeah, I would say that trailer really doesn't do the movie justice.
No, but it gives you a nice taste of what it is.
If you're a fan of like old Chinese kung fu movies and Stephen Chow's work in general, there are so many, like most of the actors in that film are kung fu legends. Like we don't really, unless you've kind of like immersed yourself in the culture and like watched a lot of the films, you won't catch on to this. But a lot of the characters in that film are kung fu legends from previous films that were big. A lot of them were in Chinese Odyssey, and they were also in the Journey to the West film, Conquering the Demons. A lot of
they're basically his boys.
Are in both films. Yeah, they're basically his boys. Yeah. So also that film, he literally gets like a Zenkai boost. He gets like powers with like, he gets key powers exactly like in Dragon Ball. It really does kind of expand on like the sort of themes and inspirations that Toriyama was taken from in terms of like where Goku's powers came from. Because a lot of people, when they think of Goku's powers, they just think of like he's an alien with like superhuman abilities, when really it goes beyond that. There's like spiritual context and like a spiritual idea behind attaining this sort of power. And Kung Fu Hustle like really does a good job expanding on that in like a really comedic way. So if you guys like the idea of like learning a bit more behind like why superhuman abilities like that exist within martial arts, and also you want to laugh a little bit, that's the perfect movie to check out. So
yeah, and I want to highlight this comment. He says, the best movie ever, there's no movie like this. It's not my favorite movie ever, but one thing that I think that Ann too is right about is that there really aren't a lot of movies like Kung Fu Hustle. That's a very unique movie, and I will say this about Kung Fu Hustle. When you watch it, you're either going to like it or you're going to think it's stupid. Jordan, I've talked to a lot of people who think that's a stupid fucking movie. It's dumb, it doesn't make any sense, it's ridiculous. But other people, they get the comedy more.
Well, also, it's a love letter. The film in itself is a love letter, and if you're not a fan of a lot of the previous shows that he's trying to pay homage to, like if you've never seen a Chinese Odyssey or a lot of the kung fu films that these actors are known for, but prior to this film, you're not going to understand the sheer amount of love and care and sweat and blood that went into that film. Like it really is catered to somebody who understands who the actors are. Who like all the different films that Stephen Chow has worked on, all the different films that he's paying homage to within that film. There are layers within that film that make it more enjoyable if you've been watching Stephen Chow's work or any of the works from the actors that he employed within the film. So it's one of those movies that a lot of people have seen because it is kind of like mainstream in comparison to a lot of kung fu movies. But if you go down the rabbit hole a little bit, you'll find out that film can actually serve as the catalyst for you to get into a bunch of other really cool old kung fu, a bunch of other really cool Chinese kung fu films that the actors within that film worked on, as well as Stephen Chow. So,
yeah, no, and I agree with you. That's why I said the movie is very polarizing. Now, here's the thing. I'm down to 3 and you're down to 3, which is weird because you went first. So how the hell did you're supposed to be down to 2?
I don't know.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter. My next pick is a movie that I first saw on VHS. Now this is another movie that has a couple different names. Okay, so this came out in 1993, and it is the first time that one of our favorites is making the list, and that is Jet Li. There's a lot of Jet Li movies that could have made the list. I mean, we talked about the one earlier. There's a lot of Jet Li movies. There's one coming up that I haven't talked about yet that's a must-see. For me, though, I watched this film on VHS in like 2000. Because what was happening was, and this is weird, Jordan, but try to follow me. It would make sense. I don't know if it was because of Dragon Ball, but there was this weird resurgence of Kung Fu movies in my high school. I'm not sure why, bro, but like people really got back into some Kung Fu movies. So we used to watch Jet Li's Fist of Legend and, I think it's Romeo Must Die. Because that had just come out. Remember Romeo Must Die?
Yeah, of course,
yeah, and Steven Seagal had what's that movie with DMX?
I think there was a crossover between like the action movie universe
and the rap
Kung Fu movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
and Kung Fu. Like it was just like a weird mix of all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I think Romeo Must Die elevated Jet Li, I think, to like a new audience because it had Aaliyah in it, it had DMX in it. This film is I accidentally closed the window. I didn't mean to do that. This is a Jet Li classic from 1993. It's called The Legend. It's Jet Li's Fist of Legend, but also can be known as The Legend of Fung Sai-yuk. So if you are trying to find this movie, Legend of Fung Sai-yuk, which by the way, I think was a real guy. It's just he didn't do the stuff he did in the movie. Otherwise known as the Prodigal Fighter. Like I said, the movie has 3 different names. Jet Li's Legend, Legend of Fung Sai-yuk, and Legend of the Jet Li's Legend, Legend of Fung Sai-yuk, and the Prodigal Fighter. this movie, the reason why I picked it, it's not my favorite Jet Li movie, but it's the most like Dragon Ball, and I enjoyed this one. This one has comedy in it. It has wire fu. It's fun. Let's watch the trailer. I love this movie, bro. That scene was right there was copied in Dragon Ball Evolution, except done about 10 times worse. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, yeah.
Oh. This is how you do it. Wacky, bro. Wacky.
Yeah, you can see why Jet Li produced this. He got to look like
It's so over the top, bro. It is so over the top.
So pause it right here. That
Right here?
character right there is the same landlord character from Kung Fu Hustle. That chick right there.
That's crazy. 'Cause this came out like 10 years before.
Yeah, like I said, Kung Fu Hustle is composed of martial arts legends. Like, unless you like, basically, when you watch that movie, you're supposed to look at it as a love letter.
You mean
to
the
all of these
actress?
films. Yes,
That's
the
what,
actress.
yeah. You said the character, and I was like, okay.
Well, yeah, it's the actress who plays the character. Like
Okay.
that film is supposed to be a love letter to all of these types of films. So when you watch that, you're supposed to kind of catch onto that, and pick up onto that. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out because I thought you would think that's cool because that's literally her right there. So
Yes. That now I do want to say something too about and we're gonna get back to the trailer. I do want to say something about this whole thing. Somebody earlier mentioned Jet Li's Fearless, and that's a great pick. But that movie, I feel like, is a remake of this one because they're almost identical. I picked this one because it's earlier, but that's a good pick too. I'm not saying it's a bad pick. It's just that movie's so similar to this one. I mean, he even looks the same in that movie as he does in this one. But I picked this one because this is the one that I saw first, and it came out first. Okay, now your next pick. Hey, look, that's our stream. What is your next? Well, I know what it is, but tell the people what your next pick is.
it is the inspiration for Muscle Tower.
It's the inspiration for stuff in Final Fantasy VII, Tekken, Kung Fu, the video game. This movie inspired a lot of shit, all right? Like, anytime there's a tower to climb, this movie inspired it.
Right. Let's get into it.
Okay. I have the Arrow trailer. Let's see if this is this. I haven't seen this trailer yet, but let's see if this is the one. All right, this is the Arrow trailer. It's short, but let's talk about it. Bruce Lee's Game of Death. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was a student of Bruce Lee in real life. Okay, now, this movie, bro, any muscle tower, anytime you have to go up a pagoda or go up a tower, any of that, even in the Boo saga when they're going down levels to Babbidi's ship, because it's Muscle Tower over again. All of that came from this film. I mentioned Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't know if we have time to get into this whole story because it is a long story.
No, we don't. But it is this movie.
I didn't even finish saying what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Bro, I was going to say, this is important. Bruce Lee died during the making of this film, and that is a problem because there are multiple versions of this movie. There's a version that was finished by an American studio that changed the plot completely. Then later it was finished by the Chinese studio, but it had a different actor. Bro, I literally said Muscle Tower 2 times, bro. Did I not? Did we not say that?
You did. That was the first thing I said.
Okay. Anyways, how do you explain to the people what version? I say watch both versions, but I get why it's confusing. There's a lot of... This movie has one of the weirdest behind-the-scenes stories ever. That's what I was saying. We can't get into the whole thing.
Yeah, there's a special edition that I bought on DVD. That's like the definitive version that I watch. I can't remember if it's the one that was completed by the American studio or the Chinese studio, but...
Well, I got the Criterion one, and that came with both of them.
Yeah, so that's the version that I watch. But I mean, it's a good film either way in terms of just like. Now, I will say the film is disjointed because they did have to kind of change the narrative of a little bit because of Bruce Lee's death. The original narrative of that was that Bruce Lee was supposed to win the game of death through the martial arts principles that he was practicing. And he essentially
wrote the movie, did he not?
Yeah. Yeah, and originally the idea was that Bruce Lee's martial arts principles, like his spiritual beliefs, are what carry him to the end of that tournament. Like that's or to the end. Yeah, like basically the whole idea behind the film is the reason that he doesn't die is because he is practicing a certain set of principles that all of the characters that he's fighting are not. So it's basically taking that idea of a battle of philosophy between two different characters. But it's just like Bruce Lee as a character, because he's so strong in his philosophy, he's essentially unstoppable the entire film. Which other Bruce Lee films have a similar theme, but Game of Death was supposed to make it overtly obvious. It was supposed to be like more obvious that what was going on, and we never got to see that because of Bruce Lee's death. So
yeah, and that's one of the big like losses because I have not read the original script. I know it's out there. But from all intents and purposes, the movie was supposed to get even more awesome, and he never even got to shoot that. He died in the middle of filming, and like I mentioned, there's a version of this movie where they hired a lookalike to finish the film, but the guy didn't look that much like Bruce Lee. It was kind of racist. The first time I ever saw this movie was that version because in the movie, he gets shot. Like a guy shoots him with a gun, and that doesn't happen in Bruce Lee's script at all. And then the movie completely changes to a different plot. It's one of the weirdest stitch jobs in history.
Yeah, it is. Still a good movie, though.
Zacharific, you got the white SSJ-haired Goku. SH Figures, that's sick. I saw the IG post. Yes, I did. I also posted it on Twitter. I was able to get that, and I got it for free, bro. So very blessed about that one. My next one, now I'm going to throw a curveball at you because there's actually a tie. It's actually a tie. You know one of the movies, but not the other one. But I'm going to start with the one that you on my list. And I feel like most people have probably seen it, Jordan, but I think a lot of our audience is also kind of young too. So maybe they haven't. I guess we'll find out, won't we? And that is Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon. Now, why is this movie on the list? Let's watch the trailer and then we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Roper, Williams, and Lee, the Deadly Three, penetrate the secret chambers of an evil island empire.
What do you know about Han?
He lives like a king on that island, totally self-sufficient.
A fortress without walls, protected by an invincible army that needs no ordinary weapons. This is Enter the Dragon, the first martial arts film produced by a major Hollywood studio. John Saxon is Roper. He was in it for the money. U.S. karate champion Jim Kelly as Williams. He was there because he had no choice. Black Belt Hall of Fame undisputed martial arts champion and international film star Bruce Lee. His job was to get them out alive.
I'm hoping you'll join us, represent us in the United States. You want me to join this?
Roper, Williams, and Lee. Just when they think they've broken the secret of the island, they find there is no escape from the inscrutable Han. Warner Brothers presents Enter the Dragon, where the world's greatest martial arts athletes meet the ultimate challenge with the most ancient and deadly of weapons, the human body. Enter the Dragon from Warner Brothers.
You're muted, Danny. You're muted.
So what I was saying is, what more can really be said? I mean, it's not the reason why I put it on. I grew up with this movie. It's the first Bruce Lee movie I ever saw. My brother introduced me to it. It was everywhere. It was Bruce Lee's sort of breakout movie in the West. He had already been on Green Hornet. He was Kato on Green Hornet. This was his first theatrical movie, and it was a huge success, and probably the most it was I think his highest grossing film as well.
Yeah. This movie is the reason Dragon Ball is named Dragon Ball. There is an interview from Toriyama where they asked why he named Dragon Ball, and he said that Enter the Dragon was his favorite film, and that if you're going to make anything kung fu based, it has to have the word dragon in it. So basically, he saw that it was called Enter the Dragon, and he took inspiration from that to name the series Dragon Ball. And this is also the inspiration for almost all of Toriyama's like martial arts knowledge in terms of, well, he's also read Bruce Lee's books very, very obviously. But if you go and you watch this movie, one of the first scenes that plays out in this movie is that Bruce Lee pulls one of his students aside and he's like, hit me. And so his student hits him and he's like, no, you're doing it wrong. He's like, don't get angry. He's like, emotional content. So it's that famous quote from Bruce Lee where he's talking about how you don't use rage and anger, you use emotional content, and essentially you basically let your emotions do their own thing in the moment, so that way your body will sort of in a sense respond on its own to dangerous situations.
Boards don't hit back is a great line from that movie also.
Yeah, so that movie is the inspiration for almost every iconic scene in Dragon Ball, from
Mortal
Super
Kombat.
Saiyan, from Super Saiyan to Ultra Instinct. I mean, Toriyama basically, he explicitly said that when he drew Super Saiyan Goku the first time, he used Bruce Lee's eyes from that film as the inspiration for how he drew Goku's eyes, because, you know, Bruce Lee as a character in that film is, although he's a good person, he is a killer. Like, he can take you down easy.
The double stomp. That movie started the double stomp, which became a wrestling move because of that movie. And Bison did it.
This movie had such a ridiculously huge impact on Dragon Ball that it's actually, you can't really, I mean, you can call yourself a fan, but there's just levels of understanding and things that you'll get from watching this film in terms of like Toriyama's appreciation for Bruce Lee as a person, and his approach to kung fu philosophy and his approach to filmmaking. There's just so much that Toriyama took from when it comes to Bruce Lee, not just like his understanding of martial arts, and he wasn't just his hero, but also as a filmmaker and as a scriptwriter and everything. Like, there's so much that Toriyama took from this film that it's a shame not to watch it and call yourself a Dragon Ball fan. So,
is it safe to say that Enter the Dragon is the most not even with Dragon Ball, we're talking about with everything. I think Enter the Dragon is the most inspirational martial arts movie ever made. Mortal Kombat took from it. Street Fighter took from it. Tekken took from it. Final Fantasy, like every like major product from Japan, or even if it's America related to martial arts, has somehow borrowed from that movie. It's insane. Right. It's insane. Like, watch that movie again for the people in the crowd, in the stream, and the people watching later on. You're gonna be surprised as to how much stuff. I guarantee you, so many anime and live action shows that you watch, bro. Fucking Cobra Kai, like even not just that, the Karate Kid borrowed so much from that film. The film also has a tournament, which of course Dragon Ball has tournaments for a reason. So it's just the most inspiring kung fu movie ever made. Now okay, I want to say one last thing. In my Discord server, we watched all 5 of Bruce Lee's films: The Big Boss, Enter the Dragon, Game of Death. Why am I forgetting? Oh my God, my favorite one. I'm forgetting the name of it. The second one, bro. What the hell was it called? We watched all 5 of them. Game of Death.
I can't remember.
There's Way of the Dragon, where he fights Chuck Norris. Yeah. And then there's the 5th one. That's my favorite one, bro. Now, why is my brain rotting?
I'm blanking on it too, dude. It's all good.
Yeah, no, it's not good. This is not good. I know. I'm gonna look right now because I feel like a damn idiot. Fist of Fury.
Oh yeah, duh, yeah.
That's my favorite one. Fist of Fury is my favorite Bruce Lee movie of all time.
That is a good one.
It didn't make the list because I think Enter the Dragon is more like Dragon Ball, but add that one to the list, bro. Add Fist of Fury to the list. Bro, look is Cobra Kai good, bro?
It's good.
That's like saying is pussy good, bro. Well, I guess not everybody thinks so. My other number 2. Now, I watched this in the Discord also, but I'm not sure you were there. Have you ever heard of Riki-Oh, the story of Ricky?
No, I have not heard of this one.
And you haven't watched it? I streamed it in the server.
I have not watched it.
All right, I'm going to play the trailer and talk a little bit about it because, boy, this movie came out in 91, so it was actually while Dragon Ball Z was around, but wait till you... Let's just watch the trailer. So here's okay. Let me just say this about. So the movie's about a guy who gets locked up unfairly, and he's in a prison. And this is a post-apocalyptic future where the justice system is all fucked, and there's abuse in the prison. He has to deal with it. This movie is so incredibly violent. I'm letting you know now. If you have a queasy stomach, there's a scene in the movie where he gets his wrist sliced. He pulls out his veins and starts to tie them. But it's so cartoony. He ties them in a knot to make sure he doesn't bleed. There's an eyeball that gets popped out of a guy's head. He punches through people. There's a fat guy who steps in and he gets paid. They paid me 50 pounds of rice to kill you. And then Riki-Oh punches him in the stomach and leaves a hole open. It is so over the top. There's a fight where a guy's ribs get ripped out. It's just so over the top. But but it's also goofy as shit. Here's the big thing though. The final boss of this movie has a transformation. The warden of the prison has a transformation. And it's the most ridiculous thing in history. In fact, there's a video on YouTube here called Worst Transformation Ever. This is from the story of Ricky. This is the most Dragon Ball Z shit you'll ever fucking see in a movie. And I also saw this in high school.
Ricky Ho, let's see if you can deal with me. You think you're real tough. I'm a lot tougher than you think. The warden of any prison has to be the very best in Kung Fu. Now see for yourself.
Oh, wow.
It is so goofy. Okay.
Baki, bro. He looks like the dude from Baki.
Do not, hold on. Aang 2, do not reveal how Ricky beats him. It is so utterly ridiculous. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Bro, the way that he kills him is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen in cinema.
Super Shredder.
Ricky, come on, show me what you've got.
This is 91 too. This movie is so wacky. Yeah, but it's wacky, bro. They even went for the cheap heat, bro. One of the villains, the very effeminate one, at one point in the film, and I'm sorry, this is going to offend some people because I know how y'all feel about this. He kicks a dog, and the dog literally, it's so over the top. He kicks the dog in half, and you see the half of the dog with its guts dripping out, bro.
Oh, my God.
It's so violent. I almost want to, show one fight scene because of how utterly ridiculous the fight scenes are in the movie, bro. It's like the Street Fighter, except even more just...
I liked what I saw.
No, it's ridiculous. I mean, look at this right here, bro. This reviewer says this is the craziest movie ever. Utter insanity, so bad it's good. It is a fun movie if you know what you're getting into. If you know you're getting into wacky shit, bro, you're going to... There it is. Look, see he's choking him with his... So his guts get ripped out. He takes his guts and chokes him with his guts, bro.
You must fight, Ricky.
I don't want to hear the commentary, but I want you to see how he does this. Oh, look, there's the part right there where he ties his veins. That's it right there.
No.
Bro, look at this. He literally takes his guts and is choking him with his own guts.
Oh my God.
Talking to me about arteries. This guy.
This movie, bro, if you haven't seen Story of Ricky, be prepared. It's so violent, but it's Dragon Ball. Okay, you've got 2 left, and I'm very excited to talk about the next one. Go for it.
Let's just pull up the trailer and then we'll talk. I like talking about it after the trailer because I think that kind of primes people for the conversation.
This is I'm just gonna say this. The reason why this movie initially caught my eye is because it's one of the only movies that has Jackie Chan and Jet Li.
Yeah, and they have an awesome fight in this movie. They have an awesome fight.
This is the other Jet Li movie I was talking about earlier.
In a land where heaven touches earth, with an empire divided by war,
Two legendary warriors, an orphaned girl, and a lost traveler must unite to save the kingdom.
It has long been foretold that the Seeker will come and end the reign of the Jade Warlord.
What do we do now?
How good is your kung fu?
What?
He's got no kung fu.
Help!
None. Hey, he's my student, not yours.
This is insane.
First rule, show respect to your teachers.
You must develop speed, accuracy, and power.
The Jade Warlord has sent a bounty hunter.
A martial challenge to the death.
So be it.
We can kill each other when it's over.
The Forbidden Kingdom.
I bought the movie when you advised me to do so, and we watched it in the server and I enjoyed it. Real quick before you go deep into this, I just realized there's one movie that you and I did not put on either of our lists that needs to be on the list, bro. And
What
I
is it?
feel like a fucking moron. Jordan, Bloodsport.
Oh yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that is a good movie.
That's Dragon Ball, and neither one of us put it on the list. So talk
So-
about Forbidden Kingdom.
So Jackie Chan plays a Taoist immortal hermit in that film. So you get to learn a lot about like Taoist philosophy and stuff like that from him. He teaches that like Kung Fu doesn't just apply to fighting. It applies to any art form. And it essentially the concept is continuously improving an art form to the point of near perfection. That's what Kung Fu really is. It's not really about fighting. It's about, a spiritual relationship with the idea of improvement and art and things of that nature. There's another line that he says in the film that I think is really cool because he tells the main character, whose name is Trippy Takas, by the way. That's his last name. His name is Trippy Takas. This movie is a Journey to the West centric film. It's not necessarily Journey to the West, but the main character
It's basically
he has some Wukong staff. The main character has some Wukong staff.
I just want us to explain this to the people real quick. I don't mean to interrupt you. It's basically, this is one of those movies where it's like reincarnated as Yamcha. It's Journey to the West is real in an alternate universe, and the kid ends up getting sucked into that alternate universe. So it's one of those type of movies where it's like, oh my God, you guys are real? That's what it is. So I just wanted to explain that so that they kind of got the premise of it. Because it takes place like in the 2000s. It takes place in our universe, but then he goes back to the past in an alternate reality.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say, Omega Rockman, is that a lot of people don't like that the main character's a white kid, but the whole entire purpose of
it doesn't bother me.
The entire purpose of the film is teaching Chinese philosophy to an American audience, and essentially making sure that they can kind of understand what the underlying message of Kung Fu films as a whole is. The film is very, very self-aware in like who it's targeting. It's targeting young American Kung Fu fans who have watched a bunch of Kung Fu movies but don't necessarily understand the philosophical principle behind the films. So, for example, in the movie, the main character, he tells Jackie Chan, he's like, I've seen all these like Kung Fu films. Like, he's like, I know about all these cool styles, blah, 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 blah.
Right. It makes
Jackie
sense
Chan,
that he's white. It actually makes sense that he's white.
He is a nerd who, like, is into Kung Fu films, but he doesn't actually understand the philosophical backbone or the philosophical, like, foundation for the films in itself. And Jackie Chan has to tell him within the film, he's like, how can you learn anything with a full cup? You need to empty your cup. Empty the cup of water. Like if the cup is already full, then you're never going to learn anything. That's something that he tells them within the film. You think you know all of this stuff because you've watched all these kung fu films, but really you don't really understand the core principle or the basis or the inspiration for the concepts that these films are exploring. That's really the message of the film, and that's the main reason that the main character is a little white nerdy kid, is because he claims to have this great knowledge of kung fu because he's watched all of these films, but he actually doesn't understand it conceptually at all. And his experience within the Forbidden Kingdom essentially teaches him the underlying principles and the underlying message behind the idea of these kung fu films. So it's a really good movie in that sense. I think if you're somebody who kind of struggles to grasp the cultural context of Dragon Ball and kung fu movies as a whole, this movie is for you, and it'll kind of help educate you on like what exactly the message is behind a lot of these films and a lot of these forms of entertainment. So
I think it's also a good. I think it's a very good starting point for people, including even younger people like teenagers and kids, to get into Journey to the West, because it still has like a modern vibe to it. It's not like an old kung fu film like some of the ones that we saw earlier, and it's not actually Journey to the West. And then so after watching the film, you may be curious to learn more about the Jade Emperor or learn more about Sun Wukong, and then you can watch the Stephen Chow one that I mentioned earlier, or you can watch something totally different. Or you can watch an older Journey to the West movie.
Yeah, like a Chinese Odyssey.
Yeah, right. So my number one, I don't even know if you can even call it number one, but it would be my number one. This is a movie that I've talked about a lot throughout the years. If you want to know where, like, this is probably the most inspiring movie in Dragon Ball. Toriyama's talked about it a gazillion times. Jackie Chan's in it. It's basically a film where it's got the martial arts, the comedy, the Master Roshi stereotype, and the Goku can't stop eating trope is started with this film. It was all that, like, main characters eat a lot, like Luffy, that Goku wannabe fucking does it. It's all from Jackie Chan's Drunken Master. I mean, there's lots of Jackie Chan movies that can be on the list. This is one that I chose to include. So let's watch the trailer. It said the trailer's 4 minutes. That can't be right, can it? I think this one's probably better.
I don't think it would be that old.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be that long. Yeah, right. That's weird. All right. Oh, wait. Come on, play. There we go.
Well, I'll show you what a tiger's about, huh? Hey, yay, yeah. Are you ready to meet your death yet?
So, Freddy Wong, just because your father is Master Wong gives you no damn right to cause any trouble here.
I will have to ask your great uncle to come. Who's that? So high. Listen, your father's paid me well to train you, and I'm going to do it. I'm a master now. Whoever insulted you pays with his life. Hiya! I told you I got style.
Wang Xi, 不愧为洪拳一代。
That's the one that I have, the Masters of Cinema release of that film. I mean, what more can be said, bro? We watched that one in the Discord too.
Yeah, that's a great movie. It really, you can see where Toriyama kind of got like Goku's like cheeky attitude, like, you know, his kind of the sort of arrogance that Goku shows sometimes as a martial artist, especially like at the end of the original or at the very last Tenkaichi Budokai in the original Dragon Ball. You can kind of see like where Toriyama got his inspiration for Goku's personality whenever he's being cheeky or kind of arrogant or kind of stuck up. Like you could see or kind of like overconfident. You can definitely see the inspiration that Toriyama took for Goku's characterization within that film. Like there's tons of things that happen within that film, like the idea of like a martial artist getting killed by another martial artist who's running around just killing mass amounts of martial artists. That's another thing that he took from that film. But yeah, there's like all kinds of stuff that you can appreciate about Drunken Master that was incorporated into Dragon Ball. Even Goku's blue gi, was a reference to the outfit that Jackie Chan wore in that film. So it's a good movie.
Yeah. There's so much, and don't get confused, because there's also Drunken Master 2 and Legend of the Drunken Master, which came out like in the 90s. No, this is the 1978 Drunken Master. That's the one that inspired, was it 78? Yeah, I think it was 78. That's the one that inspired Toriyama. He said it himself.
Trenton, you've asked like 5 times. Yes, I have seen it, Mon.
Yeah, I've only seen one of them, bro. Like, look, I get that you want to ask these questions, but do not spam. If you want your question answered so bad, bro, why don't you drop a super chat? If you really want it answered so bad, you're interrupting the show. So we got one left. Let's do a quick recap here. So before we get to your last one, we're gonna recap all the ones that I picked and that you picked. So you went with the Chinese Odyssey. That has nothing to do with the movie coming out tomorrow, right? The Christopher Nolan Odyssey.
No.
Okay. Ellen Page is not in this movie, or it would have been Ellen or Elliot, whatever. Hakenden, Legend of the 8 Dog Warriors or 8 Samurai. Snake in the Eagle Shadow, Kung Fu Hustle, Game of Death, Forbidden Kingdom, and your upcoming 7th one. And then my 7, well, I technically picked 8. I did cheat, and I'm sorry for that. But there's so many of them, and now I kind of wish that I had gone with Bloodsport, to be honest.
It's
so. Journey to the West, Conquering the Demons, Magic Crystal, Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon, Zoo Warriors from Magic Mountain, Legend, aka Funk Se-yuk with Jet Li, Enter the Dragon, Rikio, Story of Ricky, and Drunken Master. So, your final film.
Yeah, my final film is Master of the Flying Guillotine. Now, this film is where Toriyama got the inspiration for how the tournaments were structured within how the Tenkaichi Budokai tournaments were structured, like the actual structuring of like how each character fought each other. This film did that first. This film was like essentially the basis for that. Now,
1976, and it's a sequel to The One-Armed Boxer.
Yeah, The One-Armed Boxer is also an amazing film, but this film is essentially about. The one-armed boxer kills 2 students of the Master of the Flying Guillotine, and he spends the whole entire film trying to hunt the one-armed boxer down to assassinate him to get revenge for the one-armed boxer killing his students in the original film. Now, what's really cool about this villain is that he's blind, and he's essentially got like ultra instinct.
Yeah,
like he has this thing where he can hear you and then react instantly.
It's kind of it's sort of like what happens to, well, I was gonna say Story of Ricky. There is a scene where he goes blind, but it's like Blind Fury. Remember Blind Fury, or like Daredevil.
Right. His senses will automate. He is such a proficient martial arts master. He is a martial arts movement that he can instantly react to like his environment, and because he has this flying guillotine that he throws around, he can essentially like instantly kill anybody. And that's what makes him so scary, is that he can like basically instantly kill anybody. Now, that character is supposed to essentially be a mirroring of the main character. And the main character's whole thing, the one-armed boxer, is that martial arts is supposed to be used as a form of increasing your spiritual, mental, and physical health, and not as a means of getting revenge or getting fame or anything like that. So the teachings of the main character of this film are essentially the same teachings that Roshi laid down to Goku and Krillin whenever he was teaching him, not to fight for fame or fortune or revenge, but only as a form of self-improvement and to get better overall as a martial artist. And that's what makes the main character of this film so impactful, and what makes the film in itself impactful is that because he sticks to his martial arts principles, unlike the old master who is ridiculously way more skilled than him. Like I said, he basically has Ultra Instinct. Because he sticks to his principles, despite the fact that he's not as good a martial artist as this villain, he still in the end wins. And that's essentially the narrative of the film, is that in martial arts, what wins battles is your spirit, your soul, your dedication to the principles of martial arts, not necessarily your strength or your abilities. So that's essentially the point of this film.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put the trailer on so people can check it out. It's also Quentin Tarantino has glowed about this movie. This is one of his favorite movies of all time, along with City on Fire. He loves this movie.
Yeah, that's the villain right there. So
That stretchy arm thing is something
Piccolo.
that Piccolo and Dalsim because
and he has the turban like Piccolo too.
and he's Indian, and he's
Yeah.
Indian like Dalsim. It's literally all came from this film. The swastika.
I love this little track that they're playing with all the kung fu screams over the. That's so cool. Yeah.
I'm curious about One Arm Boxer because I haven't seen the One Arm Boxer. I didn't even know it was the sequel until today.
Yeah, the reason I picked that film over the One-Armed Boxer is because the One-Armed Boxer is about really just learning the main character's like martial arts principles. This movie really puts his principles to the test. And that's what I like about this film is that like in the first movie, you kind of learn like what his ideology is and what he is as a martial artist and like what his approach to thing is. But in the second film, it's much more about like putting that ideology to the test. So that's the reason I picked that film over this one. And plus, again, it did inspire Dragon Ball more. So
it's funny because the One Arm Boxer was produced by Raymond Chow, who is the founder of I was saying New Line Cinema, but Golden Harvest, bro. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah, you're right. It was a Buddhist symbol before it was a swastika. You're right about that. Yeah, I was going to say something about that, but Danny knows that. I don't. Really
I did, but isn't it? I do know that, but isn't it like
flipped? Yeah,
it's flipped, right? Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's flipped. Yeah, I knew that, but I don't remember. Like, isn't it still called the swastika, or what's the actual name of it?
No, it's not called the swastika. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's not called that.
Well, the reverse swastika, bro. We'll call it that. So I pretty much went over. We went over 15 movies. I'm gonna throw Bloodsport in there as like 16. So that's plenty of homework for the people to do if they want to watch something and they're bored. These movies, a lot of these movies are really action packed. Like a lot of these movies have really fast pacing. And like there are some that are obviously a bit slower, like some of the Kurosawa films, but I think the ones that we picked are pretty action packed, and so you should be good to go. I feel.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, those films are entertaining. I wouldn't recommend a film to you if I didn't find it entertaining.
Me neither, bro. This guy's asking, what about Kung Fu Panda? What about it, bro?
I tried to refrain from doing any animated movies. Like, there are a lot of animated movies that I could have brought up, but this is more about, like, you know, Kung Fu films and Kung Fu films that Dragon Ball fans will like, right? So
Right, yeah, it's Kung Fu action martial arts movies that Dragon Ball fans will like. I wrote all Dragon Ball fans must watch because I think you do need to watch these. I know that 16 movies is a lot, but get through a few of them, and then I think if you get through a few of them, I think it'll be easier to watch the other ones. Then you'll kind of know what to expect. But they are all pretty different too. Like some have more comedy, some have more serious stuff. It just depends.
Kung Pao Enter the Fist was brain rot before brain rot existed. Like, I'll never forget whenever my dad took me to the theater to watch that movie. Like, I was cracking up like a little 8-year-old schoolboy, just like freaking. It was hilarious. Now, if you're a fan of that movie, you should know that Steve Odekirk, the guy that created that movie, Kung Pao, he's also the guy that made Jimmy Neutron. A lot of people don't know that. But he did a series of films prior to Kung Pao Enter the Fist called the Thumb films that are a bunch of like parodies of different films where he's using thumbs with faces on them, kind of like the tongue character in Kung Pao where he's
with
got
the face on it.
Yeah, those films are a precursor to Steve Odekirk's film. He did the Bat Thumb, the Blair Thumb, Thumbtanic, Thumb Wars, which is like a Star Wars parody.
And that was parodied with one of the Dragon Quest VIII trailers that showed the thumb guy about to play the game. That's been done in a Dragon Quest trailer.
Yeah. So Steve Odekirk's a heck of a character. But yeah, Kung Pao is actually a redubbing and recut of an older Kung Pao or an older Kung Fu film. I think it's called Crow's Claw,
Tiger and Crane Fist.
There's another name for it. It's like
Tiger and Crane Fist.
No, it's like Crow's Claw.
The Savage Killers.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
and it's got Jimmy Wang Yu, the same guy from this one.
Yeah, and that's another really good movie. Even though like Kung Pao, you know, kind of like it's hard to like take the movie seriously after seeing Kung Pao. That's another great Kung Fu movie that you guys should probably go check it out.
They basically with Kung Pao, they shot new footage, but then they borrowed footage from other movies. I will say this about Kung Pao. It didn't connect with me. I didn't find it all that funny. And maybe I find it funnier now. But when I saw it back then, I just thought it was stupid. And I don't know, man. Like, I'm not saying people shouldn't check it out. It's just, yeah, I know. But like, okay. Freddy Got Fingered came out like 2 years before that. And that movie's really stupid. And yet I love it. So it's not even like a thing. Like, I don't know.
You got to be in a certain mood to be able to handle that film.
I mean, no, you're right. It's hard to explain, but basically, it just didn't make me laugh as much as I wanted it to.
It's nonsensical. It's a nonsensical film. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very off the wall. It's just I went into it wanting to love it, and it just didn't connect with me as much as it did to some other people. So. Yeah, and when it comes to animated films, I mean, that's a whole other can of worms, bro. Because we're going to be talking about, like, Street Fighter, the motion picture, and stuff like that. But that's a whole other
And there's a
thing.
lot of Journey to the West animated films.
Anime? Yeah, right. Well, that's it. Hopefully everybody took notes. Check out Jordan, the Dragon Lee's channel. Make for more content like this on Journey to the West and other similar Dragon Ball tropes or Dragon Ball inspired topics. Yeah. And then don't forget that on Saturday I'm once again streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/BigDGeekdom101. We are now at Super Saiyan 2 Gohan versus Cell. He just transformed in the last episode, so it's going to be an ass whipping like no other. I'm very excited for these upcoming episodes. They're among my favorites. So satisfying. That's this Saturday at 1 p.m. And, of course, don't forget patreon.com/geekdom101. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
No, make sure you guys check out those movies.
We should be back with Mongolian next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think next week's pretty open for me, so we'll see. Have a good one. Take care of yourself and each other.